Hello and welcome to the Bluejay Business News. Today we're joined by Rob Edwards, Executive Chairman of Bluejay Mining. Rob, welcome.
Thank you.
So you've made a couple of announcements this morning. Let's start off with the Dundas project update and the updated mineral resource estimate. What does this mean for the project?
Well, we made a commitment to do some infill drilling. This is one of the, if you remember, the last serious data point on Dundas was the release of the 2019 RNS and PFS around the project. One of the recommendations in that was that we did some further infill drilling to increase the confidence of the area of the deposit that we were going to start operations. That drilling was completed last summer. There was an extensive analysis done on the core in Australia using the world's top labs, using a very, very high level of QA and QC. And that MRE report came back to us. And when we reviewed it, we discovered that there was a poor reconciliation between some of the results that were achieved with the initial rounds of drilling prior to 2019 and the results which we got back. In essence, what we were trying to achieve at Dundas in a mining project is to scrape a very thin layer of loose material off the top of the bedrock. And we hoped that we'd get an increase in grade at a slightly smaller tonnage. What happened eventually is that we got a lower grade and a smaller tonnage. And there was a poor reconciliation between the historical MRE and what we found and the updated MRE. For that reason, this reduced the level of confidence that we were going to be able to generate a positive project dynamic in tandem with the multiple lines of engineering work which we carried out over the last year to make a more robust, more executable project. So we've taken the decision to not commit any more funds to Dundas. We haven't spoken about Dundas much this year. We've been very much more focused on our suite of battery metals projects. We've tried to really limit expenditure on Dundas this year. And at this point, we can tell shareholders that we will not be spending any more money on Dundas as it is today. The deposit has a significant offshore resource which still exists. We would consider partnering Dundas with a credible industrial or corporate partner. There is a lot of titanium up there. Unfortunately, within the current scope of our understanding of what's achievable there, that as a standalone project, it's not going to work as it is today. But that doesn't mean it won't work in the future. But our focus, as we've been saying repeatedly this year, is on the battery metals space. We have many large projects of scale to pursue. Dundas won't be one of them for the short to medium term.
Okay, thank you. That's a really useful overview. Moving on, you also released an update on the 2022 field program at your Disco joint venture with Cobalt. Can you tell us a little bit more about this?
Well, the data continues to excite us. Cobalt are interested in this project for the simple reason that there is a lot of metal in the ground, which we have to try and locate. And there's a lot of value in the ground, which we have to try and realize. So one of the issues with Disco is that it's not at surface, it's quite deep. There's been many generations of exploration carried out at Disco, which confirm that there are targets there. The work that Cobalt did with the support of Bluejay in 2022 has confirmed that. This work confirms that there are 5 large targets, confirms our belief that this is potentially a significant nickel, copper, PGM, and cobalt discovery. And we look forward to pursuing a program in 2024 and beyond that fits that opportunity.
Great, sounds exciting, thank you. And just finally, it'd be really useful to get an update on the rest of the portfolio and what else you're doing at Bluejay.
Well, I think we're going to be really focused on our core base metals projects. Disco is one of them. Okay, so let me start with that, maybe as a carry on from the last comment that confirms that we're excited by the opportunity, that confirms that there are targets there, that confirms also that Cobalt believe there are targets there. They have under the current agreement, they have a commitment to drill 15 pre-agreed diamond drill holes or spend $11.6 million on drilling-related expenditure, and that expires at the end of 2024. So we have to discuss with Cobalt, first of all, task number one for 2024 season is deciding what we do at Disco, how we progress that. And indeed, the program doesn't drop dead on December the 31st, 2024. It goes beyond. And typically these assets of this type of scale will require further expenditure after that. But that also means that the opportunity warrants it. And we are all on the same page that the opportunity warrants more cash in the ground. And ultimately, it needs to be drilled. That is the way you find large nickel deposits, and that's not going to change. Kangerluarsuk, we aim to rekindle the exploration program, which we had to let go for this year. In Finland, as you will remember, we had Rio, which decided not to move to control at Äänekoski. Since that announcement, and even before that, we've had inbound inquiries from really tier one partners, but we have that due diligence going on at the moment, and we are due to shortly release the results of the drilling from the Hammaslahti Summer 2023 program. So the Finnish portfolio, the aim is to seek partners that can help us progress. We recognize that market conditions are tough. In an ideal world, we'd be doing all this stuff ourselves, but we essentially have more than one company in one corporate structure. You could easily have a junior company with a Disco in it. You could easily have a junior company with a Kangerluarsuk. You could easily have a junior company with our Finnish assets in it. So it's how we allocate capital and how we de-risk our shareholder base, who we've had to ask money from on 2 occasions this year, which has been fairly painful, but we certainly aim to limit that ask going forward. And this year has been about setting the base. It's been about pivoting the company in a direction which is more beneficial for shareholders. We've now dropped Dundas, really. We've put that on the back burner. We will aim to realize value from that project, but it's not a priority. So we've given clarity to people, I hope, with today's announcements. We've given some direction. And as a whole, we'll continue to be very judicious about how we spend money. We've really limited our corporate burn rate, but we expect some positive news flow, I would think, in the short to medium term, i.e. certainly sign up by Christmas, 1 or 2 strategic investors to help us really lift the value of this portfolio to levels which we have not seen for many years.
Great, that's been a really useful update, thank you, and we look forward to hearing more.
Thank you very much.